How's it going, everyone? Damiani here, and I'm here to moderate a special panel. Today, we've got the crew from GameXplain, as well as Jonathan Metz, with Nintendo World Report and Radio Free Nintendo.
That's right.
I always get confused because I always about to say formerly of Nintendo World Report, and I'm like
semi-officially retired.
Okay,
Yeah.
So there you go. For those of you who are wondering about that exclusivity right there, about that answer, we got Andre Seegers here from GameXplain. How's it going?
Not too bad, although I feel like you almost might be a GameXplain member at this point because you brought the official GameXplain
right.
DVD from 2004.
Yeah, that's old school.
Wow. I don't even think I have one anymore.
This is one of the originals, right?
One of the originals. One of the 6, I think.
And
Yeah.
of course, it's about Double Dash.
Yep.
It's Double Dash.
Yeah.
That's right. It's my original review copy.
We also have Derek here. I believe it's the first time
First
we've met in
time,
person.
yes,
This
yes.
is like really nice to finally meet everyone. And finally, just might seen recently on Friend Code, Ash Paulson is back.
Trying to steal them.
Thank you for having me back. Long time no see.
For those curious, is it just the 3 of you for GameXplain, or are there more members?
There are more members who are not here yet.
Oh.
So there, we've got.
I actually know the answer. I'm just acting surprised. And I just hit my lav mic, so I apologize to the chat. How are you feeling about E3 so far? Have you been like watching any of this stuff? Do you watch any of the Microsoft or Xbox
Just
press
got
conference?
done watching the Xbox conference, and it was good. I liked it. Like best Xbox conference in recent years, I'd say.
Really hype. Like,
Yeah.
I know people are probably going to dissect like what actually is exclusive to Xbox and what is multi-platform. They just got. Doesn't matter. You get to reveal stuff there like Devil May Cry 5, Jump Force. That like makes it entertaining to me.
Vesperia remaster.
Oh, I went nuts for that because I was like, I saw the leak and stuff. I'm just like, make it happen. And in winter, not too far, I can deal with that.
Yeah.
And it's the PS3 content. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
We're getting the
We're finally
PS3
getting
content
that.
for the first
Bam.
time.
Yeah.
So excited for that. Some of you in the audience, unfortunately, we're not here to talk about Xbox.
Yeah.
Battletoads? Because that's kind of tender.
The biggest tease of the show where they're like, come on, show it, let us see it, and nothing. It's
Nothing.
Like,
Yeah,
So deflating.
that could have been an amazing announcement next year when they had something to show.
Yeah.
So this year, I'm like, oh, here it comes.
like this
And-
really good tongue-in-cheek style to it, and
Well, there was actual tongue on
nothing.
screen too.
Yeah,
at
that's
point.
it.
Tongue on screen.
Any
style.
guesses who you think? Because it's first party. Who do you think? Any guesses who's developing? Do you think it's?
It's not rare.
It's
You
not
don't think it's rare? Okay.
All I know is it's not rare.
Okay.
That'd be my guess. Yeah. Not rare.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to see it so bad. But good teaser reveal for that. But what we're actually here to talk about
It's the Cuphead DLC.
let's talk about Cuphead. Originally, the idea was to fill you and everyone in the audience about this. I wanted to get everyone here after Nintendo Direct on Tuesday, and possibly after a day of the show where we could get together. But unfortunately, as I expected, your schedule is just like insane like ours, and it's just having to come here and do the shoot wasn't going to work out. So we are going to do kind of like our predictions and expectations for the Nintendo Direct on Tuesday. And earlier today, I did a call for some question submissions from patrons, for $1 and up patrons. We're going to try and go through as many of these as possible in an hour, less than an hour actually at this point. As I talked a little bit with Ash before we got here. For any of you who watch Friend Code, you saw Ash and I on that episode, so there might be some familiar ground here, but not everyone watches Friend Code. I bet a lot more people are watching us right now than watch Friend Code, so this might be your first time being exposed to something like that. But let's get started. The first question I want to go with is from Jeffrey White, and it's what are your expectations for Metroid Prime 4's gameplay and functionality?
Oh, wow.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question.
I mean,
All right.
I guess
we should start with, are we going to see it this
Oh
week?
yeah,
We will see
that's
it.
a good
yeah,
one.
we're definitely going to see it.
Yeah.
In some form or another.
We'll see it. It won't be playable, is my guess.
Yeah.
Oh, you think it's like playable by
I don't
anyone?
think it'll be playable. I don't think it'll be playable by anyone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then
It's just coming out
Not
this
going to
year.
be playable.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would be highly surprised. I was like, even Treehouse, I like don't think they probably don't have anything for that, honestly.
Probably
Right,
not.
I don't think so.
But what do you expect from it? Like, what do you think it's going to be?
Oh, man.
I honestly, the big question I have is whether they're going to go for the twin stick, like whether you're going to be able to control like full direction movements with where you look and treat it like a traditional first-person shooter, or if they're going to go more in lines of the original Metroid Prime, or even go for the motion controls of Metroid Prime 3. That's the big question. Is for me is what kind of control scheme are we working with here, or multiple control schemes? It could be any of them, honestly.
I think it's a safe bet. Motion controls will be used with the Joy-Con controllers.
They might be optional like in Mario.
Oh, for sure. I agree with that.
I like the way that they did that. You know, you can use it if you like, but you don't have to.
Splatoon 2 as well. A
Right.
shooter, yeah.
I could see there being multiple control schemes, just kind of giving people, throwing a bone to the motion control crowd and to the more traditional control crowd.
Yeah.
And Doom has proved, like, first-person shooter with that
point.
motion controls, like, just even with the Pro Controller, it can feel really, really good, and they get that nailed, and it's probably going to play fine.
Yeah, I guess gameplay-wise, I expect something maybe closer to the style of Metroid Prime 1. No more planet visiting, it's a single large environment you explore. I'm sure there will be some kind of new gameplay mechanic to tie into it. I don't know what it would be. Maybe something involving switching of some kind.
I know.
Yeah. I mean,
Metroid's about switching at its heart, right?
Hey, that's
You're doing
it,
a morph
yeah.
ball, and it's just a totally different gameplay.
That's
so.
it.
I kind of feel like this won't be called Metroid Prime 4. I'm actually looking at a bigger departure than what you guys are talking about. I have a feeling that it's been long enough since Prime 3. They don't feel totally attached to that concept. It's a different developer, different team making it. I think they're going to be inspired by Metroid Prime, and it might be Metroid Prime : something else. But as far as like just a really straight ahead follow-up to the last ones, let's bring it to new tech, let's add some new enemies and levels, I have a feeling it will be a little more radical than that.
So then, do you think the reveal last year during the E3 Direct last year? Do you think that was just a placeholder logo name? Because they had the 4. So you think they're going to go with a completely different
But the
name?
4 was blue. It looked pretty final to me.
Yeah.
there you go.
I actually agree with you, Andre. I really do hope that they go back to the single player or single planet exploration thing. Prime 3, that was cool for one game, and I like kind of exploring. Like Elysia was really cool, but I just like having that one planet where you just explore and you just kind of get used to it over the course of the game. It starts feeling, you get a feel for where everything goes and little secret passages. I don't know. I hope it's returned to a one planet system.
I do have one thought real quick. So co-op has been the big thing on the Switch, obviously, 2 Joy-Cons built in. I think there will be some kind of co-op mode. Maybe they could do something like Jet Force Gemini where you have the little helper robot, Floyd, Floyd that flew around with you. Second player can play as Floyd, shoot wherever you are aiming on screen. Maybe they'll have like a helper robot that someone can hop in and take control of as you're going through the main single player campaign.
They would have to be careful about how they do that, though, because, again, Metroid, at the end of the day, is about isolation. So they'd have to make it...
Doesn't have to be a smart robot.
True. Very true.
And if it's going to be first person, a helper droid would have to always be in front of Samus if you're going to have the other player controlling its movement in some way, right?
Right.
It's tricky. I have a feeling this will be maybe less first person than the Prime games have been in the past. They've always had a mixture of third person when you go in the morph ball, when you start doing wall jumps and things like that. But we know this game is being developed mostly in Japan. Again, it's been a long time since Prime 3. I think most Prime fans would like more games of that ilk, but aren't necessarily looking for just a straightforward follow-up. And we're not going to get it anyway because of the new developer. So I have a hard time thinking that they're going to go back into like a more strict first-person kind of format with the game being developed in Asia the way it is. So it's exciting though. I mean, I'm a huge Prime fan, and I thought 3 was a nice way to close that trilogy, but you could definitely do a lot more with Metroid in 3D somehow. Other M, not quite what we were probably looking for. I think there's some good things about it, but this will definitely be more like those first 3 games than Other M was. But it's really exciting because they've shown absolutely nothing of it. They've said almost nothing about it. It's a blank sheet,
Yeah.
As a Metroid fan, that's exciting because I would like to see them do something new and unexpected with it.
I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with Psylocke, because that's the one that's who they've been hyping up throughout this entire time, Federation Forces ending and whatnot. Like, how are they going to make him different in like a threat, I guess? Because I've never actually played Metroid Prime on on DS. I think
Hunters.
Never played Hunter, so I have no familiarity with the character that way. But it's one of those things like I don't think this character is that threatening. I don't think it's going to be an SAX situation like in Fusion, but I'm still curious, like, how are they going to make this guy a threat and unique, I guess.
You're saying he's no Ridley, right?
Exactly.
Well, and not only that, how are they going to how are they going to make him a threat, but also how are they going to make him interesting? Like, how are they going to make people care about him, especially people like Derek who didn't play Hunters? This is already a character who isn't Samus, which, already there, you're kind of getting weird territory there. So, yeah, I like, if they continue leaning heavily on the Psylocke angle, how do you make people care about that character? The other thing I was going to say was that I am reasonably sure I'm going to hate Metroid even more in this game because the Metroids in Prime 1, 2, and 3 already made me uncomfortable because I have a problem with face-sucking things and really creeps me out. And that high-definition faith sucking. It's gonna be awful, and I'm not looking forward to Metroids in that game at all. I can't.
Very good. All very good points there. I do think it would be nice for them to go with the new villain direction, honestly. I think that's one thing they can do to set this apart from previous games in the series. But also, Jonathan, your points about kind of sticking close to the trilogy, but also doing something a little bit like unexpected. I feel like that's where they're starting with the core foundation for this game, is looking back at what everyone liked about the first three. But I think just simply going back and trying to make that same type of game isn't enough. It's been enough. It's been over a decade. They have to do something new, and I think that's also Nintendo's MO. They won't literally just go back and do the same thing.
Right.
And we at the beginning of the discussion, like, what is this hook gonna be?
It's not called New Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah,
Right.
There you go.
And hey, I mean, to hear Miyamoto tell it, that's the sole reason we don't have a new F-Zero yet, is because we can't find the new angle, some innovative angle, and it's like, we don't really need you to. We just want a new F-Zero game that does. But yeah, there's no way it's going to just do the same thing the other games have done.
Prime 2 added a lot of new things, including multiplayer, to the first one, and then 3, like we were talking about, it took it, this more disjointed level design and flying the ship and doing more things like that. So I think it would be true to the series to continue pushing forward. And to your point, Metroid does need new villains. It needs, I don't know about new friendly characters, but I think it definitely needs new villains, new locations, new power-ups. Nintendo, they need to keep making the world larger and adding new things to it rather than just revisit past things. Almost anything you could want from the Metroid franchise has now been done in 3D in the first Prime trilogy. So that novelty is gone now.
We need Kraid.
We
They tried.
That was
tried.
supposed to be in the original Prime, but
Did you guys not play Nintendo Land Metroid at Kraid?
True.
It's a nice novel.
obviously that's good enough.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap this up before we move on to the next question. That I do hope they keep a very isolationist atmosphere in this game. You mentioned hopefully maybe not so many new friendly characters. I don't really want any new allies in this. I would love for it to be you are just on your own in this game and move completely away from that. Our next question comes from Tanner. Hey, allies, and our special guest. Do you think Ace Attorney will make an appearance in any capacity during this Nintendo Direct?
No.
Oh.
I feel like it's possible that we might get some ports, because again, Ace Attorney has been ported to every mobile handheld platform under the sun. I mean, it's going to happen eventually. There's no way it won't. And whether it's E3, that's what's harder to say.
Yeah, because Capcom's already expressed interest about getting Ace Attorney on the system. It's coming.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of whether it's E3 worthy, and
that does feel like more of maybe a direct announcement, hey, ports of Ace Attorney 1 through 3, or even
this is a direct, Ash. So
well, it is an E3 direct. Yeah, I kind of think there is a chance that we might see Ace Attorney remasters announced, possibly, just as kind of like a, hey, here's something else cool that you guys will like, but not like a major announcement.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get much screen time if it's in there. It's probably part of a sizzle reel, just a really quick thing.
I do not think it'll be Ace Attorney 7. It'll definitely be remasters for now, and then
same vibes.
To be E3 worthy, I feel like Ace Attorney, they would need to bring over the the die spin-off games that are set in the 19th century, and there's some issues with bringing that over, but if they could figure out a way, that would make a big splash. There's 2 of them now, so maybe they would do it as a package or just one after the other, but that'd be pretty awesome, because that would be that would speak to a Western audience who hasn't gotten to play those games yet.
Yeah, same thing with Ace Attorney Investigations 2. That also never came out here. I don't think it'll ever will at this point, but
it's too bad. I'm told it's one of the best.
I've heard that.
I'd love to try it myself.
I heard that about the other 2 too, because so it's like all the really, really good ones we don't get.
Right.
So
it's tough.
Go figure.
That would be good. Yeah, would definitely agree with that. Next question, Greg. Will the ice climbers reveal themselves?
Yes.
No doubt in my mind.
I agree.
Yeah.
They are really good fan favorites. That's happening.
I think the hype for them alone might be higher than brand new characters at this point.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love the Ice Climbers. Their final smash, if this new Smash Brothers still has final smashes, should just be they add a 3rd Ice Climber, and it's even more difficult to control and follow what's happening.
And I mean, most Smash fans already have this context and know this, but Sakurai's gone on record saying that they had the Ice Climbers up and running in Smash Wii U, but they couldn't handle it with 8-player Smash, which makes sense. So
I think it was a 3DS. I thought.
I'm sorry, 3DS. Yeah, they had, and 3DS couldn't deal with that.
Both.
So it could be both, actually.
Yeah,
because Wii U has 8-player Smash.
If you put it in 8-player, you might have 16 16 playable characters
So it
on screen.
could be both.
It's
Yeah.
basically Pikmin at that
Oh,
point.
God,
That's
right.
what-
Wow.
Either way, though, we know that they were up and running in the Wii U version at one point. They're coming back.
Expect the stage return, verticality, scrolling
I
upwards.
hope it's not. I hope it's Iceberg.
Yeah, Iceberg's good.
Yeah,
Iceberg
Iceberg's
sucks.
I was not a fan of the Brawl one.
Yeah.
Tony B wants to know, what does Nintendo have to show about the rumored Star Fox racing game to sell you on the concept?
Oh, I mean, they've already kind of sold me on
He's
that.
already- I mean,
I'm already on board with this,
Yeah.
so...
Yeah.
It's more like, what are you hoping to see out of it?
And adventure mode.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong
Yeah.
Racing has been invoked from the rumors, and I'd love for them to really show that off and confirm and give us some sense of the scope of that.
Yeah.
I want them to lean heavily into the most ridiculous fanficky parts of the universe, like from Star Fox Command. Get Crystal back in there, Beltino Toad and Panther Caroso, all those dumb characters. I want them all.
We need
in this
Grippy.
game.
Yeah,
Grippy,
Grippy in
there.
Amanda. I want all these dumb characters.
I haven't played Star Fox 2 yet, but get those characters in there.
Yeah.
They're
I want the entire
officially
extended
released now.
universe in this game. That's how they. I'm already sold on it, but that's what I want in this game: is every extended universe character.
I want
Get
them...
Dash and all those. Yeah.
I want them
like
to
your
make...
thoughts.
I want them to make flying look fun. I like the idea of flying a Mario Kart, but it feels like you're just on rails. It doesn't add much strategy to the game.
Yeah.
So I want them to nail the actual flying mechanics in this. I want to be able to power slide in the air, even if it makes no sense at all. I want it to be just a really fun, fast, perhaps more open environments than you'll get in a conventional kart racer.
That would make sense.
Right.
And shooting, I mean,
Yes.
Star Fox is about shooting, so if they incorporate that sort of ship-to-ship combat into a racing game, I think that could be really fun.
Oh, yeah.
I, for one, would really, if this really does have as much shared DNA with F-Zero, and it is kind of the return of F-Zero under the new Star Fox characters, I'd like to see some F-Zero characters included, and maybe some tracks, and especially the music. So if they could at least pepper that in and pay a little bit of tribute and keep F-Zero alive in this different format, I would appreciate it. I think a lot of fans would.
Well, Fox McCloud appeared in F-Zero as a human, so Captain Falcon should appear in Star Fox Grand Prix as a Falcon.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Also nice on Pepper. It in.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hear the possibilities for this game. I just hope it's true, and I just want to see it. Just show it.
as
Make
a
the
I'm
rest
glad,
feel more like
no
Dogfight.
images have leaked, real actual screenshots.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
made me so happy.
I mean, as a possible counterpoint to keeping F-Zero alive via this, I do like that idea, but they've already done that with Mario Kart, and it's already kind of depressing. So it's already it's barely hanging by a thread just through 2 tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. If they continue to have F-Zero live vicariously through other franchises, that's kind of depressing to me. But it's better than nothing.
It's a lot better than nothing.
Yeah.
And if they're
And I
making
think
a
nothing's
Star
what we're
Fox
gonna
game
get.
that plays similarly to F-Zero, that's
Yeah.
way better than nothing.
Totally.
And once again, F-Zero got its own game in Nintendo Land, so...
Yeah.
True.
It's the best one.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd really like to see in this Star Fox GP or whatever they're going to call it is the graphics. Retro Studios made some of the best looking GameCube games, the best looking Wii games, and the best looking Wii U games.
Tropical Freeze still looks good on Switch.
Absolutely. They have not made a Switch game yet. So it's time, and I can't wait to see what they do with the hardware. I think Star Fox is a series that could look much better than it has the last few games that have been released for it. So Retro, they've got the style, they've got the technical chops to really do something cool with it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit mentioned earlier about this, but we had a full-blown question from Diablo169. Hey, Down, I guess. Do you think we're going to see Nintendo farm out their core franchise characters in a similar vein to Kingdom Battles again? Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battles. If so, which developer would you like to see working with those specific characters or property?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I definitely
comes
think
up
it's
a lot.
going to happen again.
Yeah.
No matter, it's going to happen no matter
Yeah.
what. It's just a matter of when, and it's going to be Ubisoft again too at some point.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, well, here's how we actually bring F-Zero back. We get Platinum to make a Captain Falcon brawler.
Yes.
In the
Yeah.
style of
Yes.
Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Beautiful Joe.
Actually, there we go.
There you go, or Beautiful
Perfect,
Joe.
yeah.
I love that.
A side scroller?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Do you think
I love
Beautiful
that.
Joe even kind of feels a little bit like Captain Falcon in Smash? They have that
It
kind of
absolutely does.
high
Yeah.
jumping but heavy physics
Right.
and melee. Yeah, can do it.
Now, if you want to really shoot for the moon here, Nintendo and Square Enix partner up to create a direct sequel to Super Mario RPG.
yes.
If you just want to go
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
with this,
Yes.
that's what I'd want to
That
see.
can bring Gino back.
Bring
full
Gino
lasers,
back,
oh,
bring
man.
Mallow back, like the whole,
yes.
yeah.
That's like
would
a
be-
dream. I love Paper Mario games, but
The original.
I just
original.
want that real sequel to Super Mario RPG someday.
Thank you,
Just
yes.
once. make it happen, please.
Yeah.
It's like up there with like FF7 Remake and stuff. It's just like, come on, Super Mario
Yeah.
RPG 2, like just keep the hope alive.
Yeah.
And Square Enix has that whole Switch division now, so
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
maybe.
Well, it could definitely happen. This next one from Matthias. Sorry. Hey, panel. Do you think it's a possibility that Nintendo will announce a new top-down A Link Between Worlds style Zelda for Switch, or maybe just for 3DS?
Not this year.
Not the, yeah.
I think that I have a feeling that something like that is going to come. They're not going to get rid of 2D Zelda yet, but this year feels a little too soon for something like that. I think that makes for a nice buffer game before the next big Breath of the Wild style game.
You say they're not going to get rid of 2D Zelda yet. I hope you mean ever.
Well,
They don't ever get rid of 2D
no, I'm
Zelda.
with you.
good point.
Yeah.
I'll say if they do,
But-
it won't be on 3DS. It's too late for a game of that stature to come out on 3DS. Sometime in the next 12 months. It's just too much.
You say that, but
Yeah, that means Metroid Samus Returns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sure.
mean,
That had been in
assets
the works for a
too,
long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Bowser's Inside Story is coming 2019, so
It's
Yeah.
a remake though.
And that's
So
like
different
yeah,
than
true.
a new.
and that's like
a
the
new
furthest
Zelda.
title they haven't announced.
Exactly, right.
And then Direct supposedly has no 3DS titles. They're fucking on Switch, so
They should move forward.
Yeah.
It's been a long, great run for 3DS.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. I've been there for the
Yeah.
last 5 years. Before the Switch is announced, I'm ready.
I just think
Yeah.
the Switch is it's such a better experience to play with. It's capable of so much more, and it's all about having different kinds of games all in one library. So the more
Yeah.
they split things off to 3DS, the less you get of that benefit. So as a Switch owner, I want all my stuff to be on Switch. I don't really want to
Right.
have to keep pulling out the Wii U and the 3DS for all these different experiences.
Right.
Yeah. At the same time, I mean, there is still a contingency of Nintendo fans out there who only own a 3DS or can't afford a Switch yet. So I understand why it's in Nintendo's best interest to keep the fires going for a little bit. But I personally just want everything on Switch. I totally hear you. But I can see them continuing to support the 3DS for a little while yet. They've even said they're going to. So it wouldn't be out of the question to me to see some annoying exclusive announcement for 3DS this year.
Yeah,
I hope not. But
But I do agree with Derek. We'll get a 2D Zelda on Switch top down, but I don't think it's going to be this year.
So you don't think any will be announced at this Nintendo Direct then, even if it's not coming out this year? And then I want to specifically mention: do you have any put any stock into the Link's Awakening remake rumors that came out earlier?
I love that, but I
want-
don't put
yeah.
stock into it.
Yeah.
not yet.
I want it to be real so much.
And then Nintendo did say they were going to be focusing on 2018 titles. So we might get a few teases for 2019 stuff, but not a lot.
Yeah.
Although you've said before, Andre, you like the idea for like a 2D Zelda experience since we have the Joy-Cons and all that, have a like two swords adventures. I actually just had an idea right now. Not multiple Links. Let's have Link and Zelda go on an adventure
There we go.
together.
There you
Perfect.
go.
It's
I love
done.
that.
Switch top down.
Again.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
It's the way to go. But I was thinking about 2D Zelda because it does seem like the natural, follow up to Breath of the Wild to go back really hard in the other direction and make something more old school. I wonder if a lot of the people who either got into Zelda with Breath of the Wild for the first time or came back to it after a long break. I mean, it's the biggest seller in the franchise for many years. I wonder if those people would actually be interested in a 2D Zelda. It's so different. They may not have that much nostalgia for that kind of game like we do.
Yeah.
So maybe Nintendo goes for some kind of hybrid. So something that looks more like Breath of the Wild, but plays more like Link's Awakening, some kind of, I don't know if it's like a bird's eye sort of isometric, view or maybe you can just change the camera. It plays more like 2D Zelda, but you can bring it down and see things from a different perspective at times. But yeah, 2D Zelda, at this point, especially for the Switch audience, it might be a little too retro for what they want to do with the series going forward. I don't know, it'd be interesting.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like A Link Between Worlds did so well. I don't feel like they're going to abandon 2D Zelda on the Switch. I just think it's going to be. I actually do think that's what we're going to get next before the big Breath of the Wild follow up, whatever that ends up being. I don't know. I feel like it would be strange for Nintendo to sunset 2D Zelda really ever, but on Switch too. I don't know. I kind of don't see that happening.
I would personally like to see them go with a kind of a two-pronged approach, like some other franchises do. Because yes, Breath of the Wild was a huge success. It has a huge audience, but I still think, despite its critical acclaim and fantastic sales, there was a little bit of like a dissenting opinion with Breath of the Wild. And I still think, even people who loved it as well, I think there's still a market and a little bit of demand for the quote-unquote more traditional Zelda. And it even doesn't have to be 2D, though I see that being like the easiest option for them, not to like have the core team competing with each other. But I would like to see like a team working on like every other year on a more like traditional style Zelda, while every 2 to 3 years we get that open air style one. They seem to want to like keep focusing on and bring that going forward. And I personally just like to see that, but I'm gonna make one bold prediction. Just because that stinky Blue Point remake rumor going around, there's some game that's going to be like more exciting than Shadow of the Colossus remake or whatever is Blue Point's working on. I think it's either Snake Eater, or which would not be on Nintendo platform,
Right.
or it's the 20th anniversary of Ocarina of Time.
That would be amazing.
That would be
Ocarina of Time HD, just Ocarina of Time, not Majora's Mask or anything, just Ocarina of Time
Donkulous.
HD.
Wow.
As much as it could be on Switch.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be incredible. Yeah.
That would be
If I see that Blue Point
crazy.
logo in the direct, I'm gonna
Oh
be
my
like,
God, that would be
okay,
crazy.
first frame, baby. What is it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they did release a remake of Ocarina just a couple years ago on 3DS, 3 or 4 years ago, I guess now. And Snake Eater's been remade too. You know, so
On 3DS.
although that didn't stop on Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Shadow
Why not?
God's got the part of the HD collection with Eco, and it's I don't think a certain amount of time has to go by. Like, there's no formula. I see that's the biggest argument against something like that. It's like, it's too soon. 2011, just had Ocarina of Time 3D. Why would they do this? Like,
Right.
7 years is a long time in like business terms.
That's
for
how
these
long
companies,
Link was asleep in the Temple of Time, and look how much he changed.
there you go.
Wouldn't,
I like
it, make,
this.
I like
wouldn't it
it.
make more sense
See what
to
I have to deal
remake something like Mario 64 though? That's
Oh,
I mean,
I'd love that too.
there was kind of
Yeah.
it was like a port to 3DS, but it kind of an inferior port in a lot of ways. So I would love to see like a just a real. Now, they missed the 20th anniversary of that already, but yeah,
25th anniversary, 2021.
There you go.
There we go.
Let's wait a few more years on that one. This next one's about Nintendo's online service. I don't know if we're really going to hear anything about it in Nintendo Direct, rather than expect to, but this is still a good point to bring up because I think people still have concerns about it. Swordfish asked, "Hello, allies, and Jonathan and GameXplain crew. Do you think Nintendo has this online service locked down like Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus, or do you think it's going to see a rough start?"
it's already seen.
Yeah.
It's already seen a rough start. Yeah.
I mean, it is a rough start.
It is a rough. We're in it right now.
We got a little preview thanks to Splatoon 2 and its
Yeah.
voice chat, so...
And I don't expect it, and I don't expect anything to be announced about the online service that makes it look any more attractive or more
Yeah.
interesting. In
Except
E3.
the
I
games
think-
that you're going to play on it. That's
Yeah.
where they should
yeah,
focus.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
but I do think that the big thing is like, oh man, online Ice Climber for a while there, and it's like I don't. It's already rocky. I don't see it getting any less rocky. Generally, when it comes to Nintendo Online, good rule of thumb is expect the worst. And I'm sorry, but it's true.
Yeah.
And that's bearing out so far. Kind of.
I mean, arguably the worst would have been the bare minimum they announced before, and we didn't
Sure.
get that with the lack of Super Nintendo games being playable on the service so far. So
Yeah.
they didn't quite even come in at the worst expectations.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our best hope it's slightly more functional. That's... Yeah.
Yeah.
It's they're
That-
going
yeah.
they're going for like a cheap version of Xbox Live
Right.
and PlayStation Plus and stuff like that. So yeah, I suspect that the announcements that we got a few weeks ago, the kind of details of what the service will actually include. There's a reason they did all that before E3.
Exactly.
They want
Yeah.
people to process that and then kind of forget about it a little bit and then recontextualize it in terms of here's what you will actually be playing on this online service rather than exploring it in a vacuum where people are just kind of guessing at what they might be playing
Oh, yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
So the best thing they can do is show several online games that you would really be willing to pay $20 a year.
I mean, Smash alone will probably
Right,
sell
yeah,
it.
that's
the
so,
main
yeah.
one.
yeah.
Well, that's the thing is this is going to sound weird, but ironically, I kind of wish they were charging more for it because the fact that it's so cheap really makes me think that like the online experience isn't going to be much better after this thing launches than it has been so far. Like I don't at this point expect Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Smash or whatever. I don't expect those online experiences to get magically better once we start paying $20 a year. I think because that's so cheap, that's their excuse. Like, if it's not that great, well, you're only paying $20 a year for it. So, I'd be willing to pay more if it would guarantee a better online experience. Straight up.
Giving him ideas.
Yeah.
Giving him
I mean, it's
ideas.
even cheaper
Yeah.
than that because of that family plan. Like, that family
Oh,
plan
yeah.
is
Yeah.
so open.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, we talked about it on Franco a little bit. I'm curious if people are gonna figure out like if it's that easily exploitable by friends, just the idea to do it, or if there is something Nintendo's in there is like, no, you can't do it. Or maybe this, like you said, maybe they just don't care. because they're still getting some money from everybody. Like we still got 30, whatever it costs, like dollars from you, and we don't care if we're splitting it, whatever. Joshua wants to know: will there be any more info or any announcements regarding Labo?
No, not at E3.
I wish.
Yeah, I think we'll see more of Labo toward the end of the year, probably for the holiday Christmas season, or before the holiday season. I don't think we see anything about it at E3.
Yeah, I could see that being like a random middle summer announcement, like, hey, Labo Pack 3 coming. Just that's not something that they need to waste time on at E3 because E3 is gaming focused. It's not crafting or alternative gaming focused. It's about the games.
The people that would actually be concerned about Labo are not paying attention to this.
That's the thing.
I think you're right. I think later this year, perfect. That's when it's happening. Kyle wants to know, fun question, what do you think the chances are for Shovel Knight in Smash?
We'll have to defer to the Shovel Knight expert on this.
Oh, man, here we go. Well, I'll just start this by saying I would be over the moon if that happened. I want that to happen so much. Practically, you have to look at how Shovel Knight does in Japan, and he's just not as popular in Japan as he is here and in Europe, and I think that's kind of the problem is that, we got Sakurai, and how's he going to see Shovel Knight? He may be like, this character is a huge indie character in the West, but if he's not also big in Japan, is that enough to guarantee a slot in the roster as much as we would like it? I don't know if there's a big Japanese gaming contingent who would be like, whoa, Shovel Knight, So I feel like that, if he has chances, that's what undercuts him the most. But if there was going to be any indie character that has a chance, it's him, in my opinion. I think Shovel Knight's probably first in line in terms of any indie character ever having a chance. I kind of feel like Shovel Knight would be the number one.
I can see that. The only one that comes to mind I can think of is forget her name.
Shantae. I think she'd be like a close number two.
Shantae would be good.
You guys went right to Shantae.
You went right to Shantae. I wasn't thinking that, but that is a good point.
I know Shantae does have a
Bloodstain's main character.
Miriam?
Yeah.
That's a multi-platform title. I don't know.
It's multi-platform and it's not out yet, other than...
wouldn't that be tantamount to putting Beck? And that's kind of... obviously Bloodstain will probably end up being better than Mighty Number 9. God willing,
they have Cloud in there. Anything's possible. But Cloud's big enough, I guess.
But I feel like, they wouldn't put Beck in Smash, even if the game was great, because he's not iconic. Just like Miriam, she's not Simon Belmont or,
There's a Belmont rumor, though.
Yeah, that's
true.
true.
Sorry, topics, but
I could definitely see that happening. Actually, one of the predictions I had was I could definitely see Snake returning to Smash. Konami is kind of trying to farm this character out and keep it alive with Kojima gone now.
You think they would still do that, even with Kojima didn't quote unquote give his blessing for this?
Yeah, that's the one obstacle I think is Sakurai saying, "Hey, I wouldn't do that without permission from my friends because we've worked together in the past."
That's what I'd be concerned about.
Definitely. But I think actually, there's not a lot of obvious Nintendo characters that aren't already represented in Smash. So they've already picked around the fringes quite a bit with some of the Fire Emblem characters and others. So I think you could see a lot more third-party representation in this new one. It's something Nintendo's been willing to do in the past and increasingly so with each game. So other than Snake returning, which would be, I think a lot of people would really enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
I think we could definitely see something from the Dragon Quest series, like Slime. It's hugely popular in Japan. Never shown up in Smash Brothers before. It's a character that anyone would recognize, even if you've never played the games. And Dragon Quest XI is coming out on Switch in the next 12 months or so, supposedly.
Hopefully.
So, it makes a lot of sense for Square Enix to get involved with that, too. And then Pelicos from Monster Hunter, the cat helpers, I think that's probably more than... I guess you could go with one of the monsters, but the Pelicos seem more recognizable there. And I had, maybe someone from Persona like Chie from
Persona. I don't know if I can see a Persona character. We're really shooting for the moon here now. I don't know about that.
Shooting for good.
But as far as Shovel Knight, the biggest hope he has, because Little Mac is not popular in Japan. As far as I know. Punch-Out is not a popular... That was an American choice forced by the American fans and European, I assume. So that might be the best bet. It's just if there's just enough demand for Shovel Knight. But I'm not sure there is. That's still the key thing.
I just love the message it would send, because there are so many people out there who still look at indie games somehow as a genre. When indie games aren't a genre, that's not, there's nothing that sets indie games apart as their own genre that, from a AAA game necessarily, other than budgets. So I just would I really like the message that was sent, that games are just games. AAA, indie, whatever. Here's Shovel Knight, really cool indie character. I just think that it sends a really positive message.
So I just while you're saying that, I also thought of one last possible indie character who also has Knight in their name. Hollow Knight. It's coming to Switch first for console. So even though it will end up being multi-platform, that's something they might want to push. Like maybe leverage like, hey Nintendo, would you like to also use Hollow Knight? And maybe because the game is already come out and popular and well received, possibly. I think it's still a bit of a stretch, but like it just hit me. I was like, oh, that's another one that would be kind of a cool thing.
Yeah.
Let's move on from Smash Brothers. It's like, it's coming. Don't worry, it's coming Tuesday. Andrew wants to know though, do you think there's any chance that Advance Wars will make a return?
Sure. Yeah.
There's always a chance.
Well, in the direct, specifically in the direct. Let's give it context.
In the direct, I don't think so.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
They're going to be talking about the new Fire Emblem instead, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
too similar.
That'd be the one,
They should
right.
cover
Cover
both.
both in the same direct, I think.
Why do you think maybe it hasn't? Let's break the direct context. Why do you think it hasn't come back?
Fire Emblem has
Really?
yeah, I
Fire Emblem?
think that's a
Okay.
big part of it.
Yeah.
It caught the market by fire a lot better than Advance Wars ever did. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just kind of invalidates it all. I mean, and I hate
Right.
to say that because obviously Advance Wars has its own fans, and that's great. But I feel like just Fire Emblem domination just almost kind of invalidates it.
And it was the first couple games were a little silly, then they tried to go serious, and it didn't do well. They just couldn't find the right tone or ideas for it, so it just never really flourished like the others. Fortunately, we do have Wargroove for a type of Advance Wars game, but as Advance Wars itself, maybe, but honestly, that's what I would see for like a 3DS game.
Okay.
I'd see that for 3DS more than Switch.
Yeah, maybe so.
If it got announced, but I don't see it getting announced.
All right. Yeah, I think, such as they said, they want to keep continuing to support 3DS beyond this year and into next year and beyond. That would make a lot of sense. Like, I think that's like a right tier franchise to come back on 3DS.
Yeah.
all the games we want can come to 3DS. F-Zero.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, no. F-Zero.
Can you imagine?
I mean,
Oh man.
they'd be like, you buy it to support it if you want it to come to Switch.
In the graphical style of the original on SNES.
Oh, man.
Oh my god.
I could actually get behind that.
Okay.
If they actually had it in 3D.
Yeah, so if it had stereoscopic 3D, I'd get behind
All right, how are we
that.
selling us on the concept now?
Yes.
I would get behind that.
There we go. I can roll with this.
Yeah.
I definitely like this. Next subject, Dennis would like to know, Miyamoto told us years ago that Pikmin 4 was almost done. Do you guys think we will finally get to see Pikmin 4 for Switch at this year's E3?
I said our own predictions. I think so. I think this is the year we see it. It seems like a perfect kind of title to slot in before the holiday season. So, and it's been, I think, 3 years since they announced it was almost done. So I think it is time that we'll. I'm sure I predicted this in all the past E3s too.
Yeah, exactly.
It was almost done. We got Hey Pikmin. There's your Pikmin 4.
Yeah, there
Hope
you
you
go.
liked it.
I
Of
mean,
course.
they could do a sort of like a Mario plus Rabbids thing where, yeah, we heard all the rumors and stuff about it beforehand, but from the time it was officially announced to it came out was about 2 months, with it coming out in August. So maybe they could do the same with Pikmin 4, announce it, show it, get it out in August before all the other major games come out. And Pikmin does feel like a good summer game, so maybe, hopefully, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I forget. Do they have anything slated for August that's like big enough yet? Because it seems like everything.
Well,
is-
the online service starts in September, so
September.
Smash
Yeah.
might be
September.
pretty soon after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so
get it
trying to
in
remember. 'Cause
before
it
that.
feels like August is just in general is a little empty, so it'd be a nice time to put out some of these games. Which, if they announce Pikmin 4 just direct, August release date, very soon
Yeah.
coming out would be a pretty good deal. You know?
Yeah, and Rabbids did quite well at that
Yeah.
time slot, so it's very possible it could do just as well.
I think Pikmin 3 was August too, if I remember
I
correctly.
think so. Yeah. What if, with as long as Pikmin 4 has taken to materialize, what if they just did a Wii U port of Pikmin 3 first, and Pikmin 4
gosh.
still is far off? Like, it seems like that game's taken forever to
I
materialize.
have a bad feeling about Pikmin
Yeah.
4 because
Yeah.
it was mentioned so early, and they've never shown it. It really makes me think that something changed. Maybe not something bad, but something changed radically with it from between that time and now.
Yeah.
And so maybe when it does surface, it'll be something pretty different than what you might expect.
And didn't Pikmin 3 have similar issues too, where it was announced for the Wii, I
Yes.
believe?
Well, it was extracted from Miyamoto during
That was-
during a Q&A. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was Chris Kohler.
Yeah. every year. It's like, where is it? It's
Fun
like,
times.
This is an interesting question because it has to do with Nintendo's marketing and branding regarding their E3 presence. And G-Man Sir was wondering, why do you think Nintendo has decided to rebrand their E3 showing into a Nintendo Direct this year? Last year we had Nintendo Spotlight. In 2014, 2015 we had digital events. Do you think that this implies that their presentation will in any way be different than last year's?
That's a really good question.
I think it has everything to do with the collective consciousness. I just think people in general know the term Nintendo Direct more and know that's something to get excited about more than E3 Spotlight or Nintendo Presentation or whatever. I just think they know that Direct name has really stuck. But basically, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going off Ash, I mean, everybody always called it a Direct anyway at E3. And like, nobody ever called it the presentation like we did for Optics, but that's about it.
Well, I remember, like, before every discussion for it, I'd have to look up, like, what is this thing called again? Is it Nintendo Spotlight? What? Yeah. So I think it just simplifies things. Everyone knows what a Direct is. It's a Direct.
I think it's just cutting through the mixed messaging and be like, this is a Direct during E3 and expect announcements, but
the past few years it's felt like they've wanted to do that to set it apart from other directs, and my feeling is, hey, it's at E3. That alone makes it special. People have different expectations for it. You don't need to try to pretend like it's something other than what it really is, which is not that different from what you do all year long. It's just on a bigger stage. There's more expectations, more content filling up, probably less detail on each game. I don't really think it has any hidden meaning.
Yeah, I agree. I think, it's just an extension of, like, the branding, because they have the Mini Direct, a franchise name Direct, and then now, like, E3 Nintendo Direct. I think they're just going to be using that, like, going forward, because, as you said, searching on YouTube every year to, like, look up the old ones, like, E3 2015 Nintendo Direct. It's Spotlight, or it's. I was like, gosh. It's like, I think it is. Yeah, they just want to be uniform with that and, like, get everyone in the same mind. Like, that's how everyone thinks already.
Are the headlines coming back? You think the headline style?
I think so.
I think. I mean, I don't know. I think so, but at the same time, they might not want to play so fast and loose for E3 because the headline style is sometimes so fast it's hard to keep up, and I wonder if they want to do that for E3. And we know that we do know that it's going to be at least 30 minutes and no more than 45. So that does give them more time to work with than they usually have.
I like the pacing of the previous year's E3 ones, where just, like, each thing kind of, like, flows and gets a nice amount of time, and you just transition to the next one. I personally would not prefer the rundown style for E3. I think this is a special occasion. You give the games that are to be featured here a little bit more time in the limelight for that.
Definitely. There will be a lot of focus on a relatively few number of games because they've got so many other events where they can make smaller announcements. They've got 3 days worth of Treehouse Live webcasts, so they can announce smaller games on that. It'll still get a lot of attention for their fans. They've got a Smash Brothers tournament and a Splatoon tournament Tuesday. They could make announcements there, especially for Smash. They don't have to cram the Direct itself full of all these smaller details in order for people to hear about it during the show.
I mean, it's crazy to think that Samus Returns was announced during Treehouse, not the actual presentation.
Yeah.
So
it's just literally just going to bring that up, as an example. Like that's how they do it, and it works well for them. Mark would like to know, what are our hopes and dreams for the upcoming Animal Crossing, and what improvements to the Animal Crossing formula would you like to see?
I mean, they need to go in more on the online for that series. Like, if you can actually make it feel like you're living in a community of other people, like your friends. Like, if you can actually have influence on, I mean, if you can, like, share a town with someone, which would kind of go against, part of it being your town, right? But I think something along those lines would be really cool. Like, on the, I guess in all the games, to some degree, like, you can have people in the same house living in your same town. Why not make that online? Have your friends living in the same town, like the same 4 people, or 4 people in the same town.
Yeah, I would like there to be some sort of, that's what I was going to say, it's like some sort of community element that really goes in on the living with other people part, and interacting with other people. And because even with New Leaf, as much as I enjoy that game, it still, at the end of the day, kind of feels like, unless you're willing to go visit other people's villages, it's kind of a solo experience. And I feel like with the Switch and with the whole marketing angle being playing with others, it would be really cool if maybe you could even, use the second Joy-Con and get some co-op. Like, I don't know how that would work, but maybe another user in your Switch could bring their character and you could, I don't know, give you items, or exchange items, exchange gifts, I don't know, but I just feel like there should be some sort of connectivity or social element to
the social element. They really need to, like, up that and push that hard in new Animal Crossing, whatever they do, regardless. I definitely agree with that. Any other thoughts on this? Or?
I don't think we'll see it at E3 though.
Oh, really?
I think I don't think we'll see it this year, actually. So I'm thinking that's a title for next year, even if it's been way too long since we've seen it.
I feel like we might get a tease, like just like a Prime 4 type tease.
I hope so.
But I don't think it's coming out till
Well,
next
I hope
year.
I hope not Prime 4 style tease. I want the actual proper.
Yeah,
right.
I prefer they stay away from that Pokemon announcement, the Prime. Please don't ever do like that again. Have something more to show off, or just hold off on it. Wait till it's ready to actually show off. I feel like that's a strength that Nintendo does well for the most part.
So the mobile game for Animal Crossing got pretty mixed reviews. People seem to be not that crazy about it. Do you think that makes it more likely that they would show the Switch follow-up now to try to cleanse people's memories of that, or does it mean they should wait a little longer, let people get away from that experience, kind of reset expectations?
It's like the second one,
Makes more sense to me too, I think.
I'm not sure if it's something they're even thinking about, because I feel like they may understand that the market and the audience for Pocket Camp is just so different from what a typical Animal Crossing game is, that I don't know if they're all that concerned necessarily about people having a bad taste in their mouth from Animal Crossing, because I don't think any hardcore Animal Crossing or Nintendo fans went into Pocket Camp thinking this is going to be awesome, this is exactly what I want, and then we're let down. I think most of us hardcore Nintendo fans are going into it like, okay, well, this is a mobile take on Animal Crossing, I'll check it out. Not for me. Done. I'm still looking really forward to the new one. So I don't know if they're that worried about the perception of it necessarily among hardcore fans.
Yeah, every Animal Crossing fan I know is like, okay, that was a thing, just give me the real deal. They want that immediately. So I don't know if they necessarily need to wait on that kind of thing. And I'm not a huge Animal Crossing guy, but I do think it's a good idea if they stuck with the mayor aspect, because that seemed like it pushed the series forward in a new way and really gave it its own unique twist on things. So I'd like to see them expand upon that for new mayor duties or something like to that degree.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree. I think it's a safe bet that will be returning back.
Maybe it should be a town council, since
that would be cool.
Nice.
Take votes on all the
raise taxes and everyone.
A town hall meeting. Nice. Oh god, like this. Speaking of a game we do expect to see at this Direct, but we've seen nothing of it. Joe wants to know, Nintendo told us a new Fire Emblem game is supposed to be coming out in 2018. With Awakening, 3 versions of Fate, Echoes, Heroes, and Warriors all releasing in the last few years. How do you think Intelligent Systems will try to make this entry stand out?
I think just the sheer fact it's on consoles, they're really going to be able to push the graphical aspect, because Echoes was... for a 3DS game, that game just moved beautifully with the combat. There were some really, really well done maneuvers whenever you were actually in combat, how they would react to whatever's being thrown at them and just really push it. And if they kept that angle up, kept the graphical style up, and just the presentation values of Echoes, I think that would help it stand out even more so. The tricky part with the new Fire Emblem is how far you lean into the elements that saved the series ostensibly with the whole the marriage elements, the child elements, all that stuff. And the thing is, you've always had the ability to talk to other characters and get those relationships up, but they really went hard into it in Awakening, more so than any game before. I don't know if they're going to bring back the child aspect, because that just, I think, flopped completely in Fates. I do think they're going to keep maybe the marriage aspect, but maybe keep it a little bit more restrained. It's hard to say that for sure, because they have this formula that works, but they don't know whether they should go with the classic fans, the new fans, and what they go. And they try to appease all of them with Fates, and while it sold very well, Fates is not exactly well regarded by many people at all. So it's a really, really, really tricky situation for Fire Emblem, I think.
With Echoes, even though it was a remake of a much older game, I think a lot of the fans really appreciated that it felt different than the past few Fire Emblem games. It felt like it was doing new things. It had different mechanics, and I could see them going farther in that direction. With a new Fire Emblem, they say, hey, we've done a lot of Fire Emblem. It all plays more or less the same. I could see them adding some significant new elements. I wonder if, because on the TV you're going to have like you said, like a more grandiose presentation, maybe going back to the way the game looked on GameCube and Wii when it was, really beautiful, especially with the cutscenes. I could see them adding in some very minor action elements in the combat scenes. Maybe it's something that doesn't happen every time you fight. Maybe it's only for bosses or something, but giving a little bit of direct control, it plays up on some of the popularity of Fire Emblem Warriors, something probably a similar simplicity as that game, but maybe just much more constrained. But I could see them doing it. It could even be optional. Just as a bonus thing if you want to. But I think they should change up a little bit about the way Fire Emblem plays, because it has been pretty stale for a long time. And they've just done so much of it lately. If it's just more Fire Emblem and it's pretty much the same as before with the new graphics, I don't think the fans are going to be that excited for it.
And this time it'll be split among 5 different versions of the game.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if they might start taking a two-pronged approach to the series, where they have like the main series still leaning heavily into the waifu and husbando and marriage elements, but then they have perhaps a Fire Emblem Echoes sub-series running concurrently that is remakes of older titles that are kind of more focused on that hardcore crowd. Because again, as Derek said, Fire Emblem Echoes really appealed to the hardcore crowd in a way that Fates and Awakening couldn't, because it leans so heavily on those marriage and dating sim elements. So I almost wonder if they might do that and kind of run them side by side, and maybe I'll announce them alternately. Like we get the new mainline game, then after that we'll get a new Echoes type remake that kind of leans more heavily into the traditional aspects that fans love about the series. But I do, kind of like Derek said, I do fully expect that the new Fire Emblem for Switch is gonna, the waifus, husbandos, that's all coming back. So just prepare yourself, because as much as hardcore fans hate that stuff, they also saved the series.
Yeah.
So they're coming back.
You can't divorce it completely.
Maybe not kids, though. I agree. I don't know if they're going to bring the child element back.
It was incredibly forced in Fates. It didn't work very well.
Easy to exploit too, because you can make really powerful characters. I do think for Switch they're going to do some kind of 2-player co-op mode.
That'd be cool.
So you could see versus battles, although I don't think that's ever been a really interesting part of Fire Emblem. But one of the best mechanics is where you have characters that develop relationships because they're fighting alongside each other, they're doing things together. If you have two kind of hero, like main story characters that are both controlled by people, each on a different controller, then you can work on these strategies in tandem, kind of solve the maps and the battles together, and that will give you maybe even more bonus of the character relationships you build up through combat. That seems like a natural fit for Switch.
That's something I'd really like to see them leverage, actually, is like that concept is like perfect. It's actually what I've been like dreaming of for like the Switch version, is having a way for characters to, or two people to play on different parts of a map even, and like working to solve that mission together. We're gonna go for about 10 more minutes. We're gonna wrap it up about 10 minutes, and we just got like a handful of questions that we can get through. There's way too many, I apologize. This next one will be really quick, but I think it's a fun one. Alejandro wants to know, will the new Nintendo CEO reveal himself?
Oh wow.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
I feel like he might.
Maybe did Kirishima show himself in directs though? He
Not a
didn't
whole
really.
lot, but there was a reason for that, because he was more corporate facing. He
was
wasn't.
intern.
Yeah, and also and so I feel like because their new president's also younger again, kind of Iwata style seemingly, he might want to be that publicly forward facing element of Nintendo's top brass, perhaps.
Maybe, but they also had that one guy that I forget his name off the top of my head. The guy that we've had for the last couple directs that can lead into that. Yeah, I think that's
Koizumi,
and he sort of built up his reputation for that. I think
That's
people
true.
are okay with him, so maybe it's not they just stick with him for now.
That's a great point. I mean, he really has become the just kind of de facto new Iwata, because he's so affable in the same kind of way. So actually, that's a really good point. Like, Koizumi kind of has established himself as that kind of friendly, comforting presence post Iwata. So I feel like that's a good point, Derek. Maybe not, actually.
The idea that the CEO of Nintendo was hosting these presentations in English, I think we're probably going to look back on that and say he was just a unique figure.
Good point.
Like there's really no one like him. I don't think Nintendo is well served by trying to repeat that sort of pattern, because I mean, Iwata was doing that because he wanted to do it and he felt like he was good at it, and this new guy, my sense is he seems like more of a behind the scenes kind of player, business guy, younger, yes, but not necessarily cut from the same cloth as Iwata.
I agree. I think maybe in the future, if there's a new hardware announcement, he might be a part of it, but otherwise, it'll be. I think Koizumi is just, and Reggie will be like the only faces.
Reggie
and Bill.
And
of course.
Bill,
we got our mainstays.
Nintendo guy referred to in all the award shows that happened earlier this year. That was pretty funny.
That was Nate Bildorf. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Nate.
Yeah,
sorry,
Nate,
I'm sorry.
he'll be
No,
on
it was
there,
Nate.
maybe.
Yeah, it was Nate was Nintendo guy.
Swords.
Jeez. And then I forget her. What's her name? The one who's accepted it at the last awards. They started calling her Nintendo Girl.
I don't know.
Like they had someone else here because like Nate couldn't even go to that one. There's just like
I didn't see that.
They're just racking up. They're just like tired of winning with Breath of the Wild.
Samantha? Was it Samantha?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Maybe.
I apologize.
I mean, we could even see Doug Bowser and that kind of stuff. They got
Bowser.
we got a lot of names.
this next one is more of a statement. Do you agree with it or not? Daniel seems convinced a beautiful new 2D Mario is definitely going to be shown.
I don't know about beautiful.
Because God help us if they lean into new.
It depends on what you mean by new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. There's a new way we can take this question.
Yeah. What do you mean exactly by that? Because I feel like it's not. I don't think we're gonna get a brand new 2D Mario with like this beautiful hand-drawn art style announced this year at E3. No way. But could we potentially see a Wii U port of New Super Mario Bros. U? Yes.
Yeah, I think that's
so
possible.
again, it really does mean what you mean by new.
Yeah, that or new Mario Maker type game potentially at
That
some
seems
point.
like a next year thing.
Yeah.
Because it would be a sequel, not a remake of the Wii U game.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
feel convinced that there'll be a new Mario game this year.
If there is, it would be.
No.
It makes the most sense to me to do 3D World. You know, they've been really focused on bringing back these Wii U games, and what they find is when they port them to Switch, they sell much better than they ever did the first time around. And 3D World was already a pretty big hit on Wii U, but you look at the massive success of Odyssey. It sold, I think, even better than Zelda last year.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So 3D World makes a lot of sense. I know they're already doing Captain Toad. I don't think they're going to step on that too much by announcing 3D World. It seems inevitable that it'll happen eventually, and this year might be the time to do it, to capitalize on.
I kind of
people's
still
interest.
personally am predicting that they're actually going to announce legitimate Mario Odyssey DLC, like New Kingdoms.
Yes.
And for that
Yeah,
reason, I
I
don't
think
think
it's
they're going to
most
have a
likely.
new 2D Mario because
Yeah.
give Mario some room to breathe and DLC. Like that's they want the focus on that.
They've played coy though. They've said we don't plan to do DLC. We put it
Yeah.
all in the game up
They
front.
said that about Smash too, though. It's like it's
Yep.
how many times did they say that about Smash?
Last two questions, and speaking of Smash, this is a fun one. Sean wants to know what I'm going to rephrase it. What dream character do you want to see added to Smash? Just go down the line. What would be your fantasy
Starting
character?
with me,
Sure, go
Okay.
ahead. Because I know who you're.
Sora.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Pass for now.
Gino, Mario RPG Gino.
Similar. I would have to go with Frog from Chrono Trigger.
Nice.
All right, that's a good one.
Nice.
I'm trying to think because I was pretty happy. Rex and Pyra from Zelda 2.
I'm surprised yours isn't Sora.
I'm
shocked. I'm actually a little bit offended.
I like Sora. I love Kingdom Hearts. I don't know. I can't.
Wow. All right, Mr. Kingdom Hearts fan.
It was a long night, so hold on. Maybe
Yeah.
you can come to a sense as we go.
I mean, we'll see. Hey, if he gets in there, I'm stoked as all get out. But I'll stick with Xenoblade because I don't want to get too crazy with all the third-party stuff. It's Smash Brothers should still be mainly Nintendo to me. So
That just means if Sora's announced, you're not allowed to main him. I'm just telling you right now. You can't.
all right.
I would love Sora. Good one. Banjo. And Banjo and Kazooie together.
I would love that. Yeah.
That'd be
would
cool.
love to see that. Just to have that happen after everything Phil Spencer said about wanting to make it happen. And talking about Xenoblade and Monolith Soft, the final question that we're going to cover comes from Michael. Do you think we'll see any sort of tease for Monolith Soft's new IP?
I think that's possible. They've talked about it enough. They've been ramping up production for that. I don't know if it's definitely not coming out this year. It's definitely a next year thing at the earliest. But I think we could see a little bit from it. I think that's entirely possible. They've been ramping up. They got that key art from it, and just kind of see where it goes because it seems out there. It seems a lot different from what we've seen from them before. So,
Although if it's a bit too early for that, do you think they might show that next year and maybe hint at a Xenoblade Chronicles X port or something like that instead, and then we get the new project next year or something?
maybe it depends on I could predict the export a year before we get X2. And I don't think X2 is anywhere close to being ready, so I think it's a ways off yet.
In some ways, I feel like X is so entwined with the Wii U as a platform.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one that doesn't get ported.
Maybe.
Especially with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 already being out.
Yeah.
Yeah, although
But
I mean,
they're going to show the DLC, right? I mean,
Right,
That hasn't
that's-
really been shown off yet. So
We
that
gotta get the
seems
story
likely.
DLC.
yeah.
And X is a bit divisive for people, so I could definitely see it getting ported to the Switch. There's no doubt in my mind it'll eventually happen, especially with it being a cliffhanger ending. There needs to be proper build up, especially since not many people had a Wii U, so you're going to want them to actually be familiar with the story before you dive right into X2 and it being a continuation. So
Yeah, I'd be more interested in seeing what they would do building off of X for the next one. If they're going to do like an X2 style game, then bringing over X from Wii U at this point, honestly. Because I'm in a divisive camp where I was like, it wasn't quite my cup of tea for that
Neither.
one. Like, I was excited at first, didn't like it in the
I
end, but
ended up really enjoying it, and I like the ways that they can really expand from it. Because we technically got 5 continents from it, but it's just one big landmass that you haven't even explored the rest of that world. So you don't have to leave planet in order to get new areas in X2. So I'm down for it. I'm so excited for an eventual X2.
We are out of time here. I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I think that's like a really great opportunity. Like really excited to have everyone here together like this. Was like want to make it happen so badly. But before we sign off, want to give you both of you, GameXplain and you, Jonathan, any chance to like give like a call out to anything, especially if you're doing any other Kyron coverage this week that you want perhaps the listeners and viewers to know about.
Yeah, sure. Part of the reason why we're so tired is because we were up until like 3 a.m. finishing a video where we make the case why Ridley should be in Super Smash Bros. Switch.
Oh, here we go.
It's pretty much a fully animated cartoon at this point. It's getting ridiculous.
It's cool.
So check that out. It just went up earlier this morning after rendering for like 3 hours. So that's one thing I would want to call out on GameXplain. In case,
and then of course the usual Smash coverage and E3 coverage.
Yeah, we'll cover everything at E3 for Nintendo.
Second breakdown of the entire direct.
Yep, a real-time analysis as we're playing the games.
Right.
Oh, joy.
So I can pitch my friends at NintendoWorldReport.com are going to be covering, of course, all the same things. We'll have lots of impressions and interviews and podcasts all week long. One of those podcasts is Radio Free Nintendo, which I'll be involved with. So definitely you can hear me more on there. And I definitely want to pitch this special item. You can pick this up, I'm told, at GameXplain.com. It's the Mario Kart Double Dash Strategy Guide DVD. 8.5 out of 10 on Planet GameCube back in the day. Excited to meet these guys finally.
Oh my god!
Well, I'm like, that's bringing back so many memories for me. Like, that's amazing that you have that still. Like that. Like, no, that's awesome.
Yep.
Super cool.
Well, thank you again, all of you, for joining me. And I hope I want to do something like this again. Like I'll try my best to make this happen. But again, it's like schedules and stuff. This is just like the reality of it. But we know a lot of you in our community want to see more of these guest collaborations. Try and make them happen as often as possible. We're going to tune out for just a little bit. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to be doing our Bethesda pre-show. But until then, you just chill with some music and enjoy those new graphics that we made, courtesy of Chris and his friends. See you later.